Hey, good morning, everybody. What a great way to start the conference. So, one of the biggest challenges we face as content strategists or content developers is overcoming silos. Marketing has their content, tech support has their content, tech writers have their content, and I've heard it called to tear down silos, but really we're never going to tear them down. What we can do is bridge them. So, I'm very happy to introduce Beril Maples, the head of content UX design at Google Analytics, to talk about just that. Beril, over to you.
Hi, thank you. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I hope everyone can see my screen. Bridging silos. Technology and the internet has become more and more integrated into our lives. We all use technology to get our jobs done. Most of us, if not all, create content and experiences for technology products. Outside of work, we all shop online, pay bills online, send emails to our friends, and scroll through our Instagram feeds. Now, many of us are even tackling a whole new reality of online education for our kids, not to mention family gatherings, organizing play dates, and attending conferences online. When it works well, technology makes our lives better. We can easily access information and get things done efficiently. When it doesn't work well, it can become very annoying very quickly. In some cases, it may even become harmful. Often, when technology is not working properly, it results in a bad experience. I recently ordered a mattress online for my son, and the website said they would ship in 1 to 3 business days. A week passed, and my order status was still showing ready to ship. So I called the customer service, and they found out that there was actually a backlog in the factory and they didn't really have mattresses in stock. I had to wait a bit longer for it to ship and arrive, and I did consider canceling my order and going somewhere else. If customers are not feeling good about using your products and services, they will go somewhere else. Sometimes the consequences of technology not working as expected are worse than just bad experiences. It erodes customers' trust with a brand. This happens every time that we get an email from a company that says, oops, our data has been breached and your credit card information is now out in the world. Breaking trust doesn't have to be in such dramatic ways either. It can happen in smaller ways, such as hiding an opt-out button or using misleading language to misdirect users. Breaking customers' trust is very easy, but it's many times harder to regain it. On the one hand, customers are giving businesses more of their information in exchange for more bespoke experiences. On the other hand, they expect the businesses to protect their personal information. Additionally, regulations are becoming stricter and bad actors more savvy. It is on businesses and us as employees to deliver delight to our customers while making sure that we keep earning their trust. So what does that all have to do with silos? Going back to the mattress example, it's easy to imagine the silos as a potential reason for my experience. Imagine 2 teams developing 2 products, one for an e-commerce website and the other for inventory management, both within their own silos, not really talking to each other. In times when there's no pandemic, no supply chain issues, and people are not furiously remodeling their homes, it's easy to imagine that manufacturing runs smoothly. There's always mattresses in the warehouse. So when the website promises 1 to 3 days for shipment, it just happens. And then one thing goes wrong, the silos become exposed to the customers. So how do these silos appear? There could be many reasons. Companies get bigger, systems get more complex, leadership cultures shift. Sometimes the culture set by the CEO or the executive team can lead to silos, For example, if the CEO doesn't communicate a clear vision, each executive may create their own separate vision for their team. Some leaders may create a culture where loyalty to one's department is more important than loyalty to the customers and the business. A lot of times, silos are organizational due to the size of the company, number of functions and disciplines, number of products, delivery timelines, and many other factors. For example, at larger companies, each department may be as big as a medium-sized business. It's easy to imagine them starting to operate in silos to move faster, to make quicker decisions, and be more efficient. Complacency can also lead to unintentional silos. There's comfort and familiarity with the status quo. It's easier to continue what's known and comfortable and ignore everything that's new and different. While operating in a silo can make us feel secure or even help us move faster, ultimately it will result in broken customer experiences, like my mattress purchase, or when I keep getting emails to buy the mattress I've already bought. When an organization has silos, it would be very easy for two teams to unintentionally solve the same customer problem, like sending multiple marketing emails about the same promotion to the same users. This is not only annoying to the customers, but a waste of effort for the employees. So how do we break these silos and deliver delight and trust to our users? Some of you may be thinking, well, I'm not a CEO or a high-level executive. There's no way I can break the silos, right? You may not be able to break them, but as Jack said, you can bridge them. I will share a few thoughts on what helped me bridge silos throughout my career journey. The first one, be a leader of your organization. Once I asked the previous manager how I could influence other departments to see and do things differently. Her answer was, be a leader of the company, not just your team. I must confess that I really didn't understand what she meant at the time. I was the head of my department, and I thought the title made me a leader among my peers. That was obviously not true. Later, I realized I was actually still a leader of my team, the user experience team. I was focused on creating the best experiences for the users, but I didn't think timelines, business goals, or other things should get in the way of it. It's really difficult to bridge silos without becoming a leader of a larger circle. This means if you're an individual contributor, be a leader within your team. If you're the manager of a team, be a leader of your peers. To be a leader of your organization, first you'll have to learn about the business. For some people, this might be the least interesting thing about work. We designers are guilty of it. Some of us find business boring. We care more about the quality of our craft or focusing only on customer needs. We lose sight of our unique position to be able to align customer experience with the business goals. Understanding the business is not enough. You also have to understand what drives your peers. What are the other teams trying to achieve? What do they consider as success? What are the career motivations of the individuals you want to work with? What are their strengths? If you understand their goals, you can reframe your goal in their context. That way you can show them how working together will get them to where they want to be. Lastly, you have to speak their language. Even if everyone's goals are aligned with each other and the business, it's easy to cross wires if nobody speaks the same language. I can't tell you how many times I left a meeting feeling good about complete alignment with the others, only to realize that everyone had a different takeaway because we all speak a slightly different language. If your work and point of view starts and ends with your specific area of responsibility, your customers will experience the silo you contributed to. It is important to take a step back and think of the overall customer experience, where your work fits in, and how it relates to the business, the customers, and the other teams that you work with. Next, build the right relationships. As a design professional, I didn't always have a seat at the table from the get-go. Often, the role of design was not well understood, and my role was seen more as a service provider and less as a partner to engineering and product. Our roles are not always where we want them to be in the corporate hierarchy. Sometimes we aren't represented at senior leadership levels, or our peers don't know enough about what we really do and what value we can add. I can't remember a time when I made a grand entrance to a new job and settled into comfortable cross-functional relationships. Most of the time, I had to work at it, build relationships from the ground up, have small wins that led to bigger opportunities. Understanding the business and the organizational structures will give you an idea about which team you want to collaborate with or which project your skills would be most valuable to. Sometimes bridging the silos is easy. You can ask the decision makers to include you, and voila, you're a part of the team. Most of the time, it's more roundabout. Some of the things that worked for me were going beyond my immediate work group and making connections with people in other teams. One may find surprising opportunities and make great connections when they're curious and ask questions about what others do or care about. This is also a great way to build your overall network. Another thing that worked for me was to pay it forward and do favors for others. You have unique skills that others don't possess. What may seem like a simple task for you may be the most daunting thing for someone else. All you really need is one ally who will collaborate with you. Sometimes we don't have the right connections or don't know who to connect with. This is when you can lean on other people who are better connected. You can ask for introductions, for sponsorship, for help. At a previous job, my team was the new kid on the block. We had big ideas and a lot of talent, but we weren't yet established. And the people who mattered either didn't know about us or didn't care about us. Knowing this, we organized an exhibit of our work right where the C-suite offices were. I invited my department's executive because he was also new at the company, and I knew he was looking for opportunities to promote his team's work. He brought the CEO along with him, who in turn summoned the other executive, the ones we really wanted to work with. That one introduction eventually helped us to contribute to what became a new brand and experience for the company. On the flip side, if you are able to bridge a silo and get a seat at the table, recognize that privilege and extend it to others, because bridging silos goes both ways. Recently, a designer on my team noticed that the content strategy and product education teams were not invited to a new project kickoff. She went out of her way to include them in the core project group. And as a result, the product and educational content ended up being very cohesive, consistent, and useful to customers, which isn't usually the case when we do these things. And nurture the relationships you've built. A lot of times we invest in building relationships and then get lazy, but maintaining those relationships is equally important to building them. Businesses change all the time and priorities shift for many reasons. When goals or priorities change, what made the original bridges possible could disappear. Also, people come and go. Teams can get reorganized, new people join the company, and others move on to different opportunities. Over time, some of your original allies and partners won't be there, and the new people who come in their place will not have knowledge of the bridges you have built. How we show up in the workplace, our conduct, and how we interact with our peers does impact how easily we can maintain these relationships. Collaboration and transparency are crucial to bridging silos. It's very easy to create mistrust and an us versus them mentality by holding on to information and not being transparent enough. On top of it, trying to solve business problems in our silo makes it easier for others to disengage because they no longer feel like they're a part of the solution. Being transparent and collaborative means inviting others to operate in your territory, inviting them to express opinions on your work. It means sharing responsibility, ownership, and credit. This can be very uncomfortable if one's not used to letting go or if the work culture values and promotes individual achievements over collaboration. Maintaining relationships takes extra effort, especially if the projects that prompted them originally were already done. It's much easier to keep our heads down and focus on the next task. But then again, one day you may have to build the same relationships all over again. Being a leader of my organization, building the right relationships and maintaining them are three things that help me bridge silos so far. I'm sure many of you have other ways you've accomplished it. Our approach has to vary based on our workplace, the culture, our location, our role, and even how we show up at work. One thing that's going to be true most of the time is that bridging silos takes a long time. It takes even longer and is harder as we are all adjusting to working fully remotely without any in-person interactions with our colleagues. It's harder to find allies when there are no casual hallway conversations and serendipity. Yet, we have to be resilient and be open to change. It'll take a long time and it'll be uncomfortable. But ultimately, the reward will be great. Instead of experiencing the silos that exist in your business, your customers will have delightful and trustworthy end-to-end journeys when interacting with your products and services. Thank you.